Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to today's review. Y'all, I watched A Toxic Love Story on Netflix. You're gonna want to watch this. It is a wild story. Well, I ended up going on a major deep dive on all the court documents, et cetera, et cetera. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk very briefly and kind of in generalized statements and whatnot for an overview, non-spoiler alert type situation of it, and then I'll let you know when I'm gonna go into more depth and detail, and we will then talk about spoiler alert section. Okay, so again, this is A Toxic Love Story. It's on Netflix, and this is about a couple, Angela and Ian Diaz, and they will all of a sudden start getting harassed, and it's not looking good. It's not great. This is very scary, and they will point the finger at a particular person from Ian's past, and the story unravels from there. Okay, now I will say this. There's a couple of things going on here. If you are somebody who consumes Netflix documentaries, like these true crime documentaries on a regular basis, then you probably will very quickly guess and know there's way more to this. And I apologize, the dogs are barking in the background. You'll guess very quickly that something else is going on here. Okay. Now, even that being said, they do present it in such a way to kind of keep you guessing as to, well, could it be this or could it be that or could it be that? So it has that dynamic to it. Now, here's the thing also, when you have something like this and a lot of these Netflix documentaries that keep you guessing and trying to figure out, well, what's going on, who's this, there's usually an element to it that's, say, not figured out yet, or that there's way more of a public discourse on, guilt or not guilt or whatever. You don't really have that with here. It's pretty straightforward once they put it all out there. Okay, so you're going to definitely get this whole thing of the characters, not all of them, not the true victim, but like the characters are just these over the top, how have they gotten through life type people. So essentially what I'm saying is it's going to give you that cringe binge thing, okay, that Netflix tends to deliver on these true crime documentaries. Could it be told in a 30-minute episode of something? Yes, right? But they do it in such a way for someone like me who never heard of this, and I'm like, well, wait, what's this? And it makes it interesting, and you're going to rip through the whole thing, okay? So definitely worth a watch. Definitely check it out. Now, let's go a little bit further in depth. And so this is the part we're going to give you a spoiler alert section, warning, whatever. We're going to be talking about the key elements of it. So on the count of three, we will do that. If you don't want to know anything about this, then just move along. So 1, 2, 3, we are in spoiler alerts. Okay, so first things first. So if you're new to my channel, this is like my small channel. I love talking about movies that I watch and TV and all that. Okay, so I have a true crime channel. I have two of them, and I did a major deep dive on those channels. At the time of this recording, the big deep dive is not out yet, but I did like a live chat on one channel, whatever. So what I'm getting at is this. I'm going to be keeping this more condensed to this type style video that I do on this channel, which is like overviews and whatnot. But I've done way deeper dive into the court documents and all that on my true crime channel. Okay, so that being said, like I said, this is about Ian and Angela. They're a couple, and essentially what's going on is they're like, hey, his ex fiance Michelle is stalking us, and Netflix presents it in such a way that you're just like, well, who's really right, who's really wrong, and all the red flags were there in the very beginning, right? To where you're like, I think it's Angela, I think it's Ian, and of course, it ends up being a little bit of everybody, and except for Michelle, and she's completely victimized by these people. I'm just pulling my notes up on my phone here. Okay, and so that part right there, like I said in the previous part, if you are, you've been watching these kind of shows, you will very quickly guess. You'll be like, something ain't right with Ian and Angela, right? Like right out the bat. And a lot of times I feel like with the Netflix documentaries where it's almost like just tell the story. I do appreciate the gotcha kind of moments a little bit, but sometimes I feel like they try a little too hard for it, and it could just be just tell the story. But the twist does make it interesting. So it is what it is. Now, also with these documentaries, they also leave out a lot, right? Yeah, there is literally an entire television series that went on in this case, okay? I went down just some of it in my deep dives or whatever, and I'll go over a couple of the things here in a minute. But what I'm getting at is this is one of those documentaries where there's so much left out. You'll want to go to YouTube and start Googling or like true crime podcast and like listening to the rest of it if you like this, because it's such a layered story. It's still going on to this day. I'll get into that in a minute. So that dynamic of it, I was like, they could have really fleshed this out a little bit more. But I also understand they have a time restraint. They're trying to tell one version of a story, not one version, but like a certain part, and they only have so much time, right? Now, that also being said, like I was speaking about in the spoiler free section, a lot of times with these documentaries and whatnot, there's the whole thing of like, well, did they do it? Are they guilty? Think of The Crash, think of Stephen Avery. There's not really that part to this one because it's very apparent what took place once they lay it all out on the table. And that's another reason why I think that they try and make it a gotcha moment, because there's not much of a who done it. It's more of like these people are like next level cringe binge. What's wrong with them? Right. I mean, honestly, I consider them evil. So for that reason, it doesn't have that push you over the edge factor like The Crash does and whatnot. Okay, now let's just talk about a couple of these things, whatever that they left out here. I'm just going to go over my notes. Okay, so first of all, one thing that they don't go in hard enough with this is that Michelle, the victim, she literally was warning police constantly. I am being framed. I am being set up. Here's this evidence. They did not pay attention to it. Okay. Ian was a U.S. Marshal. Okay, clearly not anymore. And so I think he used that. Well, I don't think he did. He used that to his benefit to kind of get the police to side with him or whatever. Okay, so the condo that they bought together, Angela, that was like at the center of the dispute, right? When Michelle reached out, wanted her money back, and was like, "I'm going to essentially act on this," that's when they started victimizing her. Okay, and there's a whole money thing behind it. Again, we won't get into all the details in this video here, but that was a way bigger part to that. And there's all these court documents just on that part alone. Investigators had evidence, if they had chosen to look at it, that pointed away from Michelle and pointed back to Ian and Angela very early on in this. Okay, but they did not look deeper, they did not ask questions, and it destroyed, I don't want to say it destroyed Michelle's life, because she is doing very well now, but it very well was close to that. Okay, she did not, this gave her like a nervous breakdown, right? Okay, so now Ian wasn't charged until years after Angela was. Angela got charged first. She did 5 years. Ian did he's doing 10 years. He is representing himself for an appeal right now, and it ain't going well, as you can imagine. But as of July 2026, he's been filing motions and whatnot in court. Okay, also, well, yeah, Ian's fighting his conviction. Also, Michelle ended up getting a settlement, undisclosed settlement from the county. She sued everybody and their grandmother. And Ian and Angela kind of got out of that because they basically got convicted or whatever and went to prison. And Angela is back out. She's working as a peer counselor. She pursued a psychology degree. I'm not sure really what happened with that. But yeah, she's working as a peer counselor for an organization. So have fun with that, right? So there's way more to the story, and the story is very character driven. Okay, but again, in the realm of, hey, I just want to watch a Netflix documentary, I want to put it on, absolutely, right? It's wonderful. But each person involved in this was just so bizarre. And I'm not speaking of Michelle because she's a victim, but I'm talking about Leslie, the host, who seems to be in love with Ian and doesn't think he's guilty. Angela, clearly she's faking cancer, she's doing this, she's doing that. Ian, who's pulling all the stuff that he did, and it's just over the top, and it's so frightening to think of, my God, because this happened to me, right? You just never know. You never know who you're dating. You never know who you're swiping right on. All right. So overall, you definitely need to watch it. Also, go watch my major deep dive on it when it comes out, probably next week, depending on when you're watching this, it might already be there. But I really like this documentary. It was good. It was fun, and check it out. So let me know what you think down in the comment section. I'm very eager to know. Or if there's other Netflix documentaries that you're watching now that you're like, Paul, go check this one out. Not even Netflix, Hulu, whatever the ones are. Whatever ones are good, I want to know in the comment section. Thank you for watching. I will see you soon.